is your favorite color?
Blue.
Right, off you go.
Oh, thank you.
Have you lost control of your MPs, Prime Minister?
Good evening, people. Welcome to the Sunday live stream, this Socialist Sunday. Solidarity, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm your humble host, Lefty. Hope you're all well this eve. Kicking off with a membership. Great way to start. Thanks for that, Specs. Great to see you on stream as well. Idiosyncrasy, the shouty bloke, Ordinal Father. Also with us, Doc Davies is in the house. Flo Snake joining us with the watermelons. Great to see watermelons and Palestine flags up, and Graham Turner joining us as well. Fists in the air for Palestine, as always. From the river to the sea, people. Flo Snake, that's an interesting question to put to the President of the United States. We'll see if it comes up. I think we all know the answer to that one. Okay, people, please do make sure that you've hit the thumbs up button as you join us on stream. Hope you like the little intro that we put together there. Another shout out to the Agitator as well for another piece of unbridled genius with those game show clips that we spliced in there. Agitate for change. Should be back on track in crisp 720. Yeah, a bit of lag there. It looks to have balanced out. Edward Sexby joining us as well in the chats. Nice to see Ed. What a week it's been, people. Well, I'll go through what's coming up on the stream when we get into Keith's Fondue Lounge shortly, as always, as per Sunday live stream custom. But as per the beginning of every live stream on the channel, a shout out to all the members. It's been great to see the community growing. We're now on 169 members towards the goal of 250, so in the short time the channel's existed, it's been great to have so many people join us along the way. Thank you very much for all your gifted memberships recently, and thanks for renewing yourselves. just got to set the stall up as well for a moment, people. You can also help to support this stream with super chats or super stickers, which are now active if you're watching live. Super thanks as well if you're watching back later on, and there's a Buy Me a Coffee page in the description of this stream, or any other content on the channel, which we hope you'll share around on your social media, and give us a follow whilst you're there. At MyLeftEyeUK is the handle you're looking for on Blue Sky, Twitter and Mastodon. We will follow back all like-minded, genuine socialist accounts. No spam, no marketing, thank you. Everybody, thank you, members. I say optimistically, as long as everybody can still register the stream.
Socialists. Oh my god.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Okay, people, who's hungry? Let's dive into the lounge and see what's coming up on tonight's stream. Thank you, Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics, the background jazz quartets. We'll be back with them in a moment. Well, it's back on my monitor, at least. So I'm going to crack on anyway. Right. Well, look who we have here. It's always the same faces, isn't it, people? And, of course, this bastard behind the bar there, goodness knows what he's cooking up, apart from a series of pathetic excuses trying to block the media from his sordid proclivities and, in fact, insider market trading deals that have been exposed this week. That's, yes, Mandy. At the back there, Keith's not out of the woods yet, despite Morgan McSweeney resigning earlier today. But will he last until the local elections? You can cast your votes in the poll, which is open on the channel. In chat, I should say, as well. So please do give us your opinions there. Will he last until the local elections? Say you aye, or say you nay. So Mandelson is out of the Labour Party. He's lost his peerage. He's no longer in the House of Lords. There are criminal investigations into what's going on, and this shouldn't just be exclusive to the UK either. We'll go into more of that later on, but of course that twat over there is certainly going to be coming up on the stream, as well as Keith at the front there. Personally speaking, I've not really got much room left for fondue, given the amount of popcorn that I've chowed down this week. If ever you're feeling down, people, just remember that at this moment in time, Jeremy Corbyn sits in Parliament, and the person who spent at least some part of every single day trying to undermine him, is now out, with his reputation now, surely, finally, forevermore in tatters. The Prince of Darkness will not be returning. And good fucking riddance as well. So yeah, McSweeney was bound to take the fall. We'll go into that story that broke today as well. A little bit more about the Gorton and Denton by-election, of course. There have been some... there's been some chicanery going on from Reform, as well as some more promotional material from Hannah Spencer to check out. Your party have been on tour, doing a series of talks. We're going to take a look at one of those in Scotland. They've also been in the North East, and I think some of the hustings are taking place in London as we speak. In fact, I did notice Livestream. Stay where you are, people. This is the place to be. But there was a stream of the hustings, which will be really drawn out and boring, but you don't... And there's not even a fondue lounge there as far as I know, so my left eye is the place to be, people. What say you? One thing I'll say is, in all the excitement, I've forgotten to update Specs' membership, which takes us to 170. So I'll start with that. What else? Sorry, I've got some circling here. I've got some buffering. Not sure if I'm coming through again. Just going to hesitate a few seconds until that stops. Tends to be the case. I could have a hot mic here. I could say anything. Yeah, it's just been a bit on and off lately. So I'm fine, and then I'm buffering, and then I'm fine. And I'm back. And that's two backs, back-to-back backs in the chat. Okay. I'll take that as a thumbs up. So yeah, your party stuff in Scotland. Like I said, as well as the latest in the series of A Song of I.C.E.A.F and Fire from over in the States. A few other bits and pieces as well. But we'll leave it there. Like I said, I don't know about you. My belly's been full of popcorn all week, so not much room for fondue. Comrie, great to see you in the chat. And hype them as well. Thanks for the feedback on broadcast levels. Right, let's get into things. We've delayed too long. More fondue later. That's all from Keith for now.
Socialists. Oh my God.
Michael, you're surprised that your party is sending out candidates for Holyrood already. Well, just to be clear, I'm not a Your Party member or a Green Party member at the moment, but have voted for the Greens most recently in the most recent elections. That aside though, yeah, I see your point. The SNP just looks set to absolutely sweep Scotland. I don't think anybody's going to change that. Waste of resources perhaps, but maybe they've decided they do want to have national representation. What the official stance on independence will be, who knows. Yeah, but they have been about today. And of course, your party will be coming up later on, but first of all, we've got to get into Morgan McSweeney's downfall.
Oh, God!
Just getting the circle again, people. How about yourselves? Are you receiving? So, yeah. I can't turn the resolution down. Well, I can while streaming, technically, but then I'd have to resize all of the logos and everything. It'd change the what's known as the aspect ratio, so pretty much just gonna have to soldier through it. If we do get some buffering, apologies once again.
Oh, God!
Okay, Morgan McSweeney.
He's an asshole, sir.
Let's see what's happening. Sorry to be slightly boring kicking off with an article as opposed to a clip. I'll just skim through the latest news. We all know what's happening here, people, whilst the mainstream media might not have much of a clue what's going on. The likes of, what's he called, Chris Mason on the BBC, just absolutely appalling. I think I could only suffer about 3 or 4 minutes of the Beeb's handling of this whilst watching live earlier. Oh, of course, this is the person who dragged the Labour Party from the disastrous election under Jeremy Corbyn. That certainly no one who's currently in Labour had anything to do with deliberately, undermining. Anyway, completely clueless as usual. And this is just to try and prolong Starmer's soon-to-be over career anyway. But will it work?
Socialists. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it could all be for nothing. We've been obviously speculating recently that McSweeney was going to go. He's going to be the fall guy. The first fall guy. At the moment, most of you think that Starmer will resign. Just narrowly, though. 52 to 48 say that Starmer will resign before the local elections in May. Just bring up the latest article. Bear with 1 second, people. And vote in the poll if you've not done so already. Should be queued up now. I've actually gone slightly ahead of proceedings. Not done the opening comedy clip, which we'll start with now before we get into Morgan McSweeney's stuff. Just couldn't wait. I was chomping at the bit to get to chewing the fat over the demise of McSweeney and Mandelson. It's it's good stuff, isn't it? In the same week. A bit more positive news. So yeah, opening comedy clip. The broken news coming from Larry and Paul. Do go and subscribe. There's a link in the description to the channel and this video as well. To Larry and Paul and the broken news.
Welcome to Broken News. Forget what we said before about the Epstein controversy being over. It is now totally, definitely finished. That's despite a compelling case that the bumped-off big-chinned billionaire was at the centre of a vicious cabal of the super-rich and powerful who were not only running the world, but were pedoing the hell out of it too. It's after the release of over 3 million files which don't raise any further questions and in fact bring the whole affair to a close. And our reporter is in Washington, D.C., where it is the most closed. Tony, is this now the end of the whole sordid affair?
Yes, absolutely, Hans. We don't need to think about it anymore. This is the final report, and we have no need to mention it ever again. That's it now, over, the end.
And remind us, Tony, so many powerful men involved in this case. How many have been arrested?
1 woman arrested, yes.
Right. Obviously, Epstein was murdered by himself while he was all alone, but I think our viewers might be interested in whether any other natural justice has been meted out to these men.
Oh, absolutely. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, for example, has been forced to live in a slightly smaller, massive house.
Devastating for him.
Devastating. And questions have to be asked about his mental health right now and how he's coping with all of this.
And Donald Trump, of course, the President of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, is mentioned extensively in these files, although the BBC aren't covering that for reasons. Are there more questions for Trump to answer now?
That's a stupid question, and you're a nasty woman.
What?
You know, I've never seen you smile, and your ratings are bad. Who are you with?
Broken news?
Fake news.
Well, yeah, it sort of is, actually.
What?
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 What? Sorry. What was the question?
Are there questions for Trump to answer over multiple allegations against him by women who were teenagers at the time?
So, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, having lost his royal titles and being forced to live in a different mansion to the mansion he was in before, has surely been punished enough.
So we know the piss artist formerly known as Prince Andrew was a massive wrong-un.
A massive wrong-un.
And on the subject of wrong-uns, Lord Peter Mandelson of Mandelson and Mandelson.
Snaky little clammy lizard man Mandelson.
Yes, did we know that he was a wrong-un?
Yes, absolutely everybody did. Lots of people in the media definitely did. In fact, everyone in the world knew. Oh, sorry, apart from Keir Starmer and all of Lord Mandelson's close business mates and all of Lord Sir Mandelson's very close friends in the Labour Party. They definitely didn't know. Jeremy Corbyn did know and said as much, so I blame him for everything.
Naturally. But what about the fallout for Lord Sir Peter of the Dark Lord Mandelson?
The infernal, trouserless creep-in-chief Lord Mandelson.
Yes, the traitorous, greasy ghoul, mucky Lord Mandelson.
The sweaty, plasticine devil of dampness himself, Lord Sir Mandelson.
Yes, him.
Well, yes, he will resign from the House of Lords and his political career is surely over. Until he gets back in a couple of months, because rich people can do that.
But we still have to call him Lord Mandelson.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Good. And all these crimes that I'm reading about, they took place on Little St. James Island.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do with that. That's too on the nose.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is. And the FBI, they're saying that they consider the matter closed and that no further investigation is necessary. Is that right?
That's right, Hans. Having looked at the countless weird emails, creepy notes, badly redacted photos and films, flight logs, wiretaps, witness testimonies, autopsy reports, police complaints, missing persons inquiries, suspicious payments and torture videos, the FBI says that there just isn't the evidence to warrant further investigation. Back to you.
Thanks, Tony. What a lovely story that's now finished. That's all from Broken News. You're up to date.
Larry and Paul. Wonderful as always. Do wish they had like a 24-hour rolling news channel. That'd be great. Once again, go and subscribe, links in the description of the stream. I'm going to share some more comedy further through proceedings, but yeah, let's tackle this Morgan McSweeney business. Labour's Dominic Cummings. A.S.O.I.C.E.A.F. Just see what the latest is. Right, now then. God, Mason again. Edited by Matt Spivey. Matt Spivey? God. Well, you're a jumped up little spiv, aren't you? So even the BBC say it there. Starmer's survival without McSweeney hangs in the balance as he confronts deepest peril, of course. McSweeney was one of the only barriers towards suggested leadership challenges from people waiting in the wings. Perhaps Wes Shut Up Wesley Streeting, perhaps Angela Rayner, of not too far away from where the stream's coming to you from this evening, people. #underline. So obviously he's been forced out following pressure over his role in the appointment of Lord Mandelson as US Ambassador last year. According to the Beeb, here's what we need to know. It comes hours after another of Starmer's allies, Pat McFadden, told BBC's Laura... Oh, was McFadden on Cussenberg? I've not had the chance to keep up with any Cussenberg today. But he said that there was no point whatsoever in getting rid of him. What, shall I do the voice? Well, he doesn't say much, it's probably not worth putting the voice on for. Not that the Pat McFadden Experience videos aren't genuine. Yeah. So McSweeney takes full responsibility for advising Starmer to appoint Mandelson as US Ambassador last year. Starmer said that it was an honour to work with him, but did not mention Mandelson. Of course, the book stops with Starmer. Starmer directly knew. He would have directly known that Mandelson kept up close relations with Epstein after Epstein's conviction. There's nothing that they can do to change that. That's what watching them dance around like this makes it's just so pathetic to bear witness to, really. It's an embarrassment. Also, did you see that Times supplement piece? And they had Mandelson on the cover, and he's just cracking some eggs open in the kitchen with his dog. Just like, oh, I got duped, I've been conned, aren't I? First of all, it's a stupid blend of I was duped, aren't I stupid, but also, very ashamedly, playing the victim. Trying to equate himself as one of Epstein's victims alongside his actual victims, whose voices have been so overlooked in all of this. Like Larry and Paul in the Broken News pointed out there a few moments ago, there's only been one arrest over this, and it was a woman. In anything to do with the Epstein files, yes, there have been, where Mandelson's concerned, he's had his house raided looking for documents now, and this pertains to this £500 billion currency bailout that he gave Epstein advanced knowledge of. What's Badenoch had to say? Bad Enoch. She says it's about time McSweeney left, but adds Starmer had to take responsibility for his own terrible decisions. Lib Dems say Starmer can change his advisers all he likes, but the buck stops with him. And while the SNP call for him to go, Reform says Labour are just continuing the chaos that we saw under the Tories. So the knives are still out for Starmer. It's received very, very, very little support. We saw Steve Reed trying to put up an effort in vain on GMB a few days ago, didn't we? Streeting was also on the news rounds, of course. Streeting himself owes a large part of his career to Mandelson, but is one of those currently desperately trying to distance himself. But it won't wash. My left eye can't unsee what it's seen, you know. But of course, McSweeney's not the first senior aide to leave Starmer's team. As they point out here, Sue Gray. Remember the Sue Gray scandal? She left in October 24, just months after Labour won the general election. She investigated the COVID-era rule-breaking in Boris Johnson's government when working as a senior civil servant, left Starmer's team following reports of a power struggle between herself and other aides. Also Matthew Doyle, who was the communications chief in opposition before leaving after 9 months. He was replaced by Steve Driver and James Lyons, who have both since left Number 10. Finally, Paul Ovenden, who resigned as Director of Political Strategy. No fucking wonder, I would as well. But obviously this was after offensive messages on WhatsApp, I believe they were, in 2017 surfaced. Stephen Flynn, Parliamentary Powerhouse of the Year winner 2025 on this very channel, says that Starmer showed appalling personal judgment in appointing Mandelson as US Ambassador, and the decision is entirely on him. Whenever Keir Starmer makes a catastrophic error of judgment, someone else is always forced to carry the can. It won't wash with the voters this time. Advisors only advise, he says. That's a good point. Can't really argue with that. They don't dictate, they're just supposed to put a word in Starmer's ear. Finally, he says Starmer's a lame duck leader. He should take personal responsibility and follow McSweeney out of the door before he does any more damage. Gonna get that prick off the screen. Who gives a rat's ass what Farage thinks about it? I'd rather see what you people think in the chat. What are we saying, people? A bit of mudslinging at Reform. It's good to see. Oh, sorry about the positioning of the... Sorry, I've only just noticed. Well, sure, that was lined up before. .56% of you now think that Starmer's going to jump ship before the next local elections. But yeah, this, I don't know, they've always got the blinkers on, haven't they, the mainstream media? Oh, how much Morgan McSweeney's turned the party around since the terrible defeat in 2019, which Keir Starmer certainly didn't have a hand in orchestrating to further his own career, as well as others who are now currently in senior positions in the Labour Party. Dread the thought. But that's not even true statistically either. Morgan McSweeney hasn't pulled Labour out of the doldrums, certainly not since they got elected. Take a look at this, people. So, staggeringly, since McSweeney was hired in July of 2024, this was when Labour won the general election, of course, look how far down they've gone. They've gone from 45% to just around roughly 20%. So what was this so-called magic touch that McSweeney has? Because we're certainly not seeing it. Also concurrently, of course, you see the rise of Reform and the Greens, of course. Should go without saying. This is from Stats for Lefties, who are sharing this poll. So it's a monthly average. You see there, I'll just bring that in a bit. Also, so you can see right down to 20%, roughly. Well, 19.4 to be precise. With the Greens on 13.6. 29.3 for Reform. And that's been handed to them. That's been handed to them by Keith and McSweeney. So yeah, just finally, all I want to do is reiterate that Starmer definitely knew about Mandelson's friendship with Epstein after his conviction, and there's nothing he can do to change it. He's got to go. He's got to go.
Oh no.
So yeah, the original poll that was going to be on tonight's stream was actually going to be asking you, dear people, if you thought that Morgan McSweeney was going to last until the end of next week. But he's beaten us to it. Just fancied not having to set the alarm clock tomorrow morning, I guess. Get it over and done with on a Sunday. But then he'll just be replaced by more of the same, because Starmer can only let Starmerites, you know, yes men, yes women, yes they thems. Whatever. It's in a circle. It's the way it's been set up. He's that fragile, he's that sensitive, he's that restricted, he's that unpopular. He doesn't engage well with the public on a face-to-face basis. He's that he has to have this amount of control because of the amount of U-turns, the amount of times he's gone back on his word. He needs those people in position to be able to try and cover his arse. So Morgan McSweeney's down. Down.
Wimp! Pervert! Nubbin!
We've got a lot to get through, so I'll leave that matter there for now. Okay. Going to move on to the current hot seat on the channel, Gorton and Denson. The by-election here in the UK. And it is definitely still a two-horse race between Reform and the Greens, who made some excellent progress, has to be said, since the by-election was announced.
Jurassic Park.
So I'll come to that in just a moment.
On with it.
Just before I do, though, this is certainly worth noting. A poll as to whether Keir Starmer should resign or not. I don't know if this will influence how you're going to vote in the poll if you've not voted so far, but here we go. But like I said, also worth noting that this came out before McSweeney's resignation, just to make that clear. But overwhelmingly, according to this opinion poll, 55% think he should resign, 23% think he should stay, and 22% do not know. And that was before McSweeney's resignation. That's pretty clear. That's decisively clear. That's pretty much 2-1. Bar 0.5% swing. I nearly said 1%, but of course if it was a 1% swing and it's a Deacon, then it's 2% anyway. So 55 to 23, very clear. Couldn't be any clearer, could it? Ah, refreshing. It's good to see. That with Morgan McSweeney resigning, Mandelson out. It's not been a bad week for, satisfaction as far as UK politics goes, at least.
Oh, God!
What's bad for Keith's good for us, I guess. Right, now we will move on to the latest hot seat.
On with it. Yes, get on with it! Get on with it!
Gordon and Denton, hot seats, ones to watch. So what's the latest? We'll look at Hannah Spencer's latest promotion video. Now, she's certainly hit the ground running, very impressive. Local plasterer and plumber from the area as well. Pretty much the only candidate who's from Gorton and Denton as well. So let's dive into that, as well as, well, there's a poll. Some of the latest polling as well, but I'm also going to take a look at the bookmakers' odds. And, well, we'll decide which is worth paying more attention to when we come to that. But let's hear from Hannah Spencer first, who is, of course, the candidate for the Green Party, if anybody didn't already know.
I'm Hannah Spencer, local plumber, Green Councillor, and I'm your MP candidate for Gorton and Denton. I grew up in Greater Manchester and I've lived here my whole life. And right now, Labour are out of the race. It's between me and Reform's Matt Goodwin, a full-time extremist, an absolute grifter who's been bussed in from London. Let's talk about it. It was here that I got my first greyhound, Graham, the rescue dog who definitely rescued me. It's where I saw firsthand who gets hit the hardest when there's a cost of living crisis, who gets left behind when those in power forget who they're meant to represent, and how those at the top benefit while it's our housing costs that go up, our bills go up, the price of our big shop goes up, because it feels like everything is going up, except our weekly wages. I spend my life fixing things that are broken and standing up for stuff that matters. Gorton and Denton matters, and I will graft to lower our bills, end NHS privatisation, bring water back into public hands and protect our services. Because looking after each other and looking out for each other, that is what makes us us. And that is the choice that you've got between a local man with a track record of getting stuff done for people in our communities, or an out-of-town chancer who is only here to divide us for his own personal gain. I'm Hannah Spencer, and I'm asking you to give me your vote on the 26th of February.
And why not Hannah Spencer for Gorton and Denton of the Green Party? Certainly a better choice than Matt Goodwin, like she said. That's the Chancellor from out of town she was referring to. Rock, yeah, thanks a lot for sharing that stat with us. 20,000 doors in Gorton and Denton they've knocked on today. That's fantastic stuff. Yeah, hundreds of volunteers have been shown out in force for Hannah, as well as Zach Polanski himself, of course, getting right behind the candidate. Excuse me. But what are the latest other statistics? Let's take a look now. Herbie? Thank you. Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics. This is a find out now, Paul. Should just get that out of the way first of all. Putting Reform 10 points in front of the Green Party. So they look, according to Find Out Now, have to take them with a very big pinch of salt, people. Taking Gorton and Denton. Poll between the 1st and 8th. That was December, though. That was in December. But what are the bookmakers saying at the moment? Because that was quite a while ago. Here we are now in February. Of course, pollsters don't have anything to lose if they're wrong, certainly not as much as the bookmakers. So where the bookmakers are concerned, the Greens are still the favourites. You can see prices there such as 4 to 8, 4 to 7, which is roughly 1 to 2 on. Odds on favourites. So Reform currently on prices of 6 to 4, 13 to 8, looking at 1.5 to 1 ish. Labour still drifting further. I mean, look at that, 8 to 1, 8 to 1 at some bookmakers. So it's definitely a 2-horse race now. And if I were you, I'd pay more attention to what the bookies are saying than the pollsters. Certainly Find Out Now. We know how hyperbolic they've been before. And it always seems to be Reform leads that they accentuate. I should say. So that's it at the moment. That's good news for Hannah Spencer. It just always seems to drifts out for about 30 seconds, but then comes back in, hype them, getting some buffering. Comrie cursing the buffering gods as well. Well, it's coming through on the studio again. Here. Inglorious 720. But it probably, if you showed that to somebody in the 90s, they'd probably crap themselves. I don't know. Yeah, Michael, Hannah has to win. It's essential. It's kind of strange that all eyes are going to be on a Manchester seat. But it's a huge litmus test. Not just for the local elections as well, but for the generals, which aren't set for a few years yet, but, you know, we have something of a habit of unscheduled elections in this country over the last couple of decades, don't we? Let's be honest. but stay positive. She's got a good team out there as well. I'm hoping to be speaking to someone in an interview as well, coming up from Gorton and Denton, so keep your eyes out for that one, people.
Can you dig it?
And you know, what else can we add to what we've already said about the Reform candidate Matt Goodwin? From nigh on 200 miles away, complete sellout, complete careerist, obviously represents Reform. And they've really been patronising the voters as well, the best that they could muster up for PR photo shoots. Saw them in a fish and chip shop, and Farage had donned a flat cap, and because, you know, that's all we eat in the north is fish and chips, and we all wear flat caps, and we, you know, a yuck cock and all that. As well, I mean, I can't even believe I've got so far through this part of the live stream without bringing up this bogus material that they've been spreading around, which is under investigation as well now. They've tried to blame the printers. Reform have tried to blame the printers for this, and it's a ridiculous excuse. Of course it is. And actually, Turn Left, another great channel worth following, did a bit of an investigation into this themselves. Letters that were supposedly from a local resident were sent out to a great many houses in Gorton and Denton, claiming to be from a lady by the name of Patricia Clegg, who was raising reformy concerns, and you can't, I used to vote for Labour, but now I'm voting for Reform, and you can't vote for the Greens, and yeah, completely unmarked with any political party insignia or indication that it had come from a political party, including, you know, background watermarks or anything, which is of course a severe violation of election rules, completely underhanded as well from Reform. But there is an investigation underway that Reform are hoping that the printers are going to take the fall for it. But they just print what they're asked to print and then distribute it. I think I've got that. Let's just have a quick look. Well, I won't go through the article. Basically, as far as I can remember from a quick skim read earlier on, there is still an investigation going to be going on as to whether Reform breached the rules. But we don't buy that. We don't buy that it was the prince's fault. I mean, come on, Nigel. Gotta have some better excuses than that. Yeah, but it's still a couple of weeks or so to go until the by-election itself. Could that even mean that they get ruled out? That Matt Goodwin won't even be able to stand? Because you certainly won't see Hannah Spencer up to any tricks like that. That's revolting. And with people like 30p Leanderthal in Reform, of course, it's no wonder to see them stooping so low as to use such underhanded tactics. It's the guy who got one of his friends to pretend that he was a stranger on the doorstep and didn't realise he'd left his microphone on at the time. We all remember that one, of course. That's been brought up recently. Won't be surprised if Lee Anderson's fingerprints were all over these letters, because his dirty tactics certainly are. What else are we to expect when it gets full of so many washed up Tories? Alright, we'll keep you up to speed with any more updates from Gorton and Denton as we get through the week. Can 30p Lee write that well? A good point. Good point, Ed. I would doubt that. Maybe you just help them, you know, I don't know. Of course, it'd be the princes. He gave it to someone who can spell and proofread it for him. $30p Lee.
He's an asshole too, sir. Gun is made first class Philip asshole.
Okay. Now let's get on to something else.
Down with it. Yes, get on with it.
First of all, a bit of a comedy break. Yeah, we'll get into the Epstein files and all this Peter Mandelson business. Oh, God. Sorry, I said his full name out loud, you know. Just dry retched. It's okay, just give me a moment. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. Almost. Not that time. Brief comedy respite first, though. And the latest gripe from Colin from Portsmouth and the Exploding Heads.
Colin from Portsmouth is on the line. Hello, Colin.
I am shocked by these revelations, Anthony. Shocked. I didn't expect Andrew to be dodgy because he's a royal.
Absolutely not. Who'd have thought it, Colin?
And now Mandelson, he seemed like such a stand-up, decent bloke. The one Labour figure I liked because he was basically a Tory. Typical bloody Labour, this is.
Colin, you said the files were a hoax to attack the right a few months
Well,
ago.
that's before I realised there were bad people on the left. Now
Yeah.
I want to hear more.
Well, they're asking Mandelson if he'll give up his peerage. I mean, what do you think about that?
When has a huge national scandal stopped people from sitting in the House of Lords?
And Andrew has been forced out of his big house and put in a slightly smaller house, Colin.
Which is anything but a palace, I might add. It was
yep.
the Queen's holiday destination. Basically a static caravan.
So both of them are given handouts despite being unemployed.
Benefit scroungers, the pair of them. It just goes to show, Anthony, any one of us is 2 missed paychecks from having to live in Sandringham.
Yeah.
That's a sobering thought. Anyway, mate, thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. Love to the family.
If I find out Donald did something wrong, my mind will be truly blown.
Well, he better be prepared to get his mind blown then. Colin from Portsmouth and the Exploding Heads. Yeah, there's a link in the description to that video on the channel. Go and subscribe. I'm sure most of you are already familiar with them already, though. Who would have thought the Prince of Darkness could have turned out to be such a wrong un? First up this, some of the latest news coming in. The FBI have arrested the black rectangle after it's appeared over 6 million times in the Epstein files. You can see some of the examples there. This is truly incredible. 6 million times. Yeah. Being used quite a few times to cover up words such as doesn't and don't, and to try and invert contexts of certain sentences. It's been pointed out. Not sure who came up with this one. To give credit to the original, but do like that one 6 million times. Yeah, mainly used to cover up Trump, of course. Someone else who's noticed patterns coming from the mainstream media as well, concerning the revelations within the files, is Rathbone, who's another channel worth following. Again, link to Rathbone's channel in the description. This is just a short, but really on the nose.
As you know, I represent the Rothschilds. I'm sorry, did you say Russia? No, I didn't say Russia. Actually, I'm trained as an Israeli spy under the tutelage of my personal friend, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. And how long have you been working for the Kremlin? The Kremlin? That's absurd. Actually, I tried to get a meeting with Putin, but he turned me down. So you're working for Putin? No. When you say no, is that short for North Korea? No, it isn't. And anyway, all roads lead to Tel Aviv. I'm sorry, did you say Moscow?
Rathbone, yeah, but of course Israel and Mossad are all over this. But all the mainstream keep clinging to is aspirations that somehow Putin's involved in all of this. It's no accident either, is it? Yeah, we know what's going on. Someone else who knows what's going on and knew what was going on all along, which is why he never had any association with him. With Mandelson, that is, of course. It's Jeremy Corbyn, who's still in Parliament. Just to remind everybody. Whilst Mandelson isn't. During the debates in Parliament this week, this is what he had to say. I'd like to share this with you now if you've not seen it already. I think it sums the Prince of Darkness up particularly well. But also just really good to see it coming from Corbyn as well. That's karma for you.
The question is, fundamentally, one for the Prime Minister, and it's a bit odd that he's not here for the debate. It's a bit odd that he hasn't spoken in the debate. It's a bit odd that all he's done is said what he did today at Prime Minister's Question Time. I cannot believe that when he was about to appoint Peter Mandelson as the ambassador to Washington, he wasn't made fully aware of all of Peter Mandelson's record. He would have known the number of times Peter Mandelson was forced to resign, even from the Tony Blair government, because of his behaviour. He would have known all of that. He would have known Mandelson's record as an EU commissioner. He would have known Mandelson's record of an interesting relationship with...
Yeah, it's like the mainstream media are stuck in a time loop or something. And how many times do I have to ask the question, how much do the researchers get paid? Because if they can't figure out... And it was... there were big media stories at the time. There's a lot of material out there at the time about what happened with Mandelson in the Blair government. this goes back to the early 2000s, and what he did within the Labour Party goes back to the 1990s. It's always been his remit and Blair's remit to overtake the party and rid it of its democratic socialist roots, which they did by removing Clause 4. Jeremy Corbyn had been an MP for over 15 years at the time that was happening. He was already very experienced. He knew what was going on at the time. He saw that happen. Again, he saw what Mandelson did in his tenure under Blair and then Brown as well. And the likes of ITV, the BBC, Sky News, all the mainstream channels, Channel 4, just completely at a loss where the recollection of those events is concerned. It beggars belief. It beggars belief. You know, the mainstream narrative that's just so off point. The storytelling. And I just think it's a complete insult to people's intelligence, people's natural intelligence. It's not as though there aren't people out there who don't even remember those events. You know, it wasn't as though they happened 100 years ago or anything. You only have to go back to the early 2000s. I mean, come on.
Global dealers in minerals and many other things. He would have known all of that, and yet he still went ahead, apparently despite Foreign Office and other advice, to appoint Mandelson as the ambassador to Washington. What a shame, what a disgrace, and what an appalling appointment to make. And we still don't even know if Mandelson is still being paid by the Foreign Office for that. And so I think today we've got to be very stern and very clear about this. There needs to be the fullest possible inquiry into all of this. Parliament is not competent to undertake this inquiry. The Cabinet Secretary is not competent. The civil service machine is not competent, because they've all been in...
And this is it. Everyone's, God, suddenly so naive. When they want your vote, they'll talk about their competence and strong leadership and reliability and all of the rest of the things that they think that they want you to hear. And when they're in office, it's like, oh no, how could we have possibly known? We're so naive. And then Mandelson himself in that shameful Time supplement. Oh, I was just so naive and duped, and I didn't know all this was going on with my, with your supposed best friend, who you stuck with even after he was convicted. So, I'm just going to play through the rest of the clip. Don't want to interrupt too much before I go off on a few tangents here. I'll come on to more of that in a moment.
Snared into this gilded friendly web of Mandelson, the business contacts, the political contacts, the social contacts, under which favours were done, contracts apparently awarded, this ghastly company Palantir trying to get hold of our National Health Service, apparently at the behest of Mandelson and others. None of us here are competent to have that inquiry. That's why I intervened, and I thank those members that did give way earlier on how the inquiry should be conducted.
So if they're not even if you allow them the very, very strong benefits of the doubt, that they had plausible deniability, it still shows a huge level of incompetence. So in either case, there's no way that their actions are excusable, because they've opened themselves up to being complete liabilities.
I think it has to be on the basis of something judicially led, independent, and for the most part in the public eye. The member for Leeds East made a wonderful and very, very powerful speech, and I thank him for the reference he made to what Mandelson said and did about me when I was leader of the opposition and leader of the Labour Party. I can just confirm to the House under my leadership, Mandelson had no role, no influence and no part to play, because I do not trust the man, I do not believe the man.
And there's very, very few people in the Labour Party now who can say that.
And we need to make that very, very clear, because his role in British politics has been basically malign, undermining and essentially a very corrupting influence altogether.
It certainly has, and in fact there's strong evidence that he more or less hand-selected all of the candidates for the last general election. He was given information, spreadsheets of people who were still left-leaning in the party and all of this other business. The likes of Luke Akehurst obviously spring to mind. That's the amount of influence that he still had. Of course, let's remind ourselves, not being an elected MP, minister, anything, a ghost from the Blair era, but of course still with his fingers on the strings, as it were, even to that extent, you know, selecting candidates.
And so when we look at our politics, we need to look at the role that big money plays, the role that patronage plays, the role that turning a blind eye to crime plays, because that is what we end up with, the national embarrassment of Mandelson being the ambassador to Washington, apparently on the basis that it was a risk worth taking in order to please Donald Trump. Epstein was very, very powerful and very, very wealthy. And there are lots of people all around the world that were dragged into this ghastly web based on dishonesty, based on lies, based on corruption and based on patronage. It's up to us as MPs, to fess up to what's happened and make sure there is a genuinely open, independent inquiry into all of this, and we look ourselves in the mirror about the standards of democracy we have in our society. Let's have the open public inquiry that's necessary. Let's have the understanding that we are going to turn the page on the era of patronage, of the close relationship between commercial pressure groups and lobbying in the Lords and here and all around the media in our society, and really strive to build that open, fair, democratic society that we should all believe in. Those that suffered in order to gain universal suffrage and democracy didn't do that so we could develop a corrupt political system. They did it because they wanted an open, democratic, accountable system that worked for the benefit of the poorest in our society as well as everybody else. So let's pass that motion today. No deals, pass the motion, inquire with real seriousness into the horror show that we've heard about.
Yeah, they've got to drain the swamp, pretty much, because so many current Labour MPs, their names are going to come up if such an inquiry were to be undertaken. You're not just talking about Starmer, you're not just talking about McSweeney, you're also talking about, again, West Streeting, Rachel Reeves, David Lammy, Shabana Mahmood. Could go on and on, but yeah, if an inquiry doesn't happen, it's going to be a complete whitewash. There's no two bones about it. Someone else who wasn't holding back on the media rounds was Baroness A.S.O.I.C.E.A.F. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This was on a Sky News panel, I think earlier today.
I don't even think we have scratched the surface of the extent of this scandal and how deep it goes across these masters of the universe who have shaped almost every part of our lives for the last number of decades, from film to finance, to business, to academia, to philosophy, to politics, all of this. And I don't know if all the information will come out. You're right, only some of it has come out. We should be having a huge international investigation. The FBI should be looking at this. Who runs the FBI? One of Donald Trump's mates. We know that many women will not speak out about this because they have had death threats, which they take seriously. A number of women have committed suicide over this, but obviously the famous one is Virginia Giuffre. And why is it that it takes a woman to take her own life before anyone is believed? And all these emails come out when hundreds of women have come forward. And it just goes back to this thing that victims are never believed and these powerful men are always given a pass. And there is such a monumental cover-up going on.
Because they give each other a pass.
Absolutely.
100%. Difficult to argue with that. Where to begin? She mentioned the FBI perhaps being brought into things there. I completely agree as well. We're talking about a 500 billion euro tip-off, which is obviously going to have a huge effect on the international money markets. Certainly not information that should have been shared with anybody, let alone someone like Epstein. So every country that uses the euro as a country really has an interest in this. But technically any country that's on the financial market, which is almost everybody. This won't be the end. Let's hope this isn't the end, but as was pointed out there, there's this sordid circle. And of course you find you work your way up this crooked path. Where the FBI are concerned, you talk about people like Kash Patel, who's clearly compromised. Just like Pam Bondi and all these other people, all these other ghouls. So then you're brought to Trump. But not every country has Trump as the leader, so remains to be seen, you know. He's got to serve some serious time for this, Mandelson. He really does. That would be a total affront to justice if he's not brought to trial and convicted, if not in the UK, some foreign court. Still very, very close in that poll that we've got up in the chat, people. If you've not voted yet, please do. Sorry we had some lagging in the chat feed earlier. I think that's resolved itself now, but 51%, just 51 to 49% think that Starmer will resign before the local elections in May. That's a hot potato, people. I want to share this one with you now. Great protest. One of those building projections that you see. I'm not sure if anybody's claimed credit for this, but it sort of looks like a led by donkeys kind of thing. I'm not saying that it definitely is them. But this one went up. This was in the States. about the Epstein files in general. Check this out. I hope you can see it okay, all of the mentions. It sort of zooms in and out, but 5,300 for Donald there. I'll just let it play through. If you want to get the numbers, I guess you can pause it for yourselves. It's not too long, right? I'm assuming they put the music on afterwards. It wasn't, unless it was sort of blaring through the street as they did the projection. Okay, we may as well just get the stats. 5,300, like I said, for Trump. Current president of the United States. Elon Musk, you've got 1,465 mentions for Elon Musk there. Bill Gates, head of Microsoft, of course, 2,592 mentions. Steve Bannon, 2,901 mentions. Former presidents, Bill Clinton preceded George W. Bush, of course, 1,210. Wonder how many mentions of cigars there were as well. Then there's a trio there. You've got Prince Andrew, excuse me, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, I believe, is the correct title now. Peter Thiel and Howard Lutnick, of course, a trio of bastards. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's taken credit for this. If you know if they have, let us know in the chat. Please, people. That was a good one. Thousands and thousands and thousands of mentions. Alright, that's making my skin crawl enough. Let's move on to other topics.
On with it. Yes, get on with it! Get on with it!
We've got a Song of Ice, and Fire coming up, but first of all, just bringing things back to UK politics briefly, like I mentioned towards the top of the stream. Your party have been holding hustings and various other meetings in the northwest, as well as in Scotland, which might arguably be a slight waste of resources. We won't get into that too much. It's just come up in the chat already. Some hustings going on in London this evening as well, I'm led to believe. Yeah, but where Scotland are concerned, let's see what Corbyn had to say for what it's worth. Although, as mentioned earlier, the SNP look set to make a sweeping victory at the next election, whenever that might come, be it this year, next year, or whenever scheduled in 2029. So this was yesterday, I believe. Jeremy Corbyn appearing in person in Scotland.
Young people have a bad deal. I've always been...
Sorry, as well, specifically, it's about how young people are somewhat disenfranchised as well in today's society, which of course they are, and there's not too great a future out there for them, the way things are heading at the moment, not just politically, also in terms of climate collapse. But they certainly do need more political representation, and that's more or less the overall theme of what Corbyn's going to be speaking about here for a couple of minutes.
Brought up with the idea that we should create a better world for the next generation, and the next generation will be better off than this generation. That's no longer the case. It is absolutely no longer the case. The generations now being brought up are being brought up with inadequate housing, high levels of debt, deep levels of stress, and a very encouraged sense of ultra-competitivity just to succeed in life. It's as though Margaret Thatcher has never gone away.
Yeah, you know, A-level results day, great, you got a pretty decent amount of results there. What we're going to do, we can go out maybe, you know, straight into employment or further education at university or whatever, and then if they do choose to finish university, bang, okay, you're out the door, here's tens of thousands of pounds worth of debt. Oh, by the way, if you want to keep a roof over your head, it's either going to cost you hundreds of thousands of pounds, or you're going to be paying, you know, hand over fist for rip-off rents from God knows what kind of people. And that's just like in the first steps that they're going to be taking in life financially as well. The pressure's never been bigger. It's almost impossible for someone who is just leaving college or university to find appropriate accommodation even.
Sharp elbows have never gone away. The austerity has now gone on for 15 years. Working class living standards are around 20% lower than they were in 2010, and that gap is getting bigger and bigger. We're a society of many billionaires and many millions of people living on the margins and in poverty. We're a society of food banks when we should be a society of equality. Let's make sure we never forget that in our activities, our organisation, and the messages that we put out. So I want every one of your party branches to have a rule you take upon yourself, that every month, at least once a month, we have open public meetings and discussions with the community that we seek to represent. So they're mobilised, they're involved, and they're active on it. Internal debate is fantastic. The left love nothing better than an internal debate. They love nothing better than that. Trust me, I've been in all this since I...
Well, yeah, we know, because you... everything that's gone on between you and Zara Sultan. Well, if you love it, you've certainly had plenty of it recently, unfortunately, I'd have to say, but I do obviously have a great deal of admiration for the man, Jeremy Corbyn.
I was 18. I've been at lots of meetings. Some memorably in many ways, some memorably forgettable in other ways, but it is about how you reach out. And
well, you would imagine Jeremy Corbyn being something of a key speaker. It has to be said, that might be considered a disappointing turnout. You know, as someone who's put on talks and hosted talks and, you know, political and environmental nature in the past, with that as a key speaker, it doesn't mean that I disagree with anything that Corbyn's saying. This is pretty much the end of the clip there.
How you enthuse people and how you educate.
Yeah, what are your thoughts about the apparent turnout here in Scotland? My initial thoughts are that, like we said, can't be expected that your party will make any significant progress in Scotland at the next general election. That's going to the SNP, that's a given. But perhaps trying to plant some seeds for the future in the minds of young people. They could maybe potentially in future general elections after the next one foresee a battle between the SNP and your party for the left votes. Remains to be seen. Sorry, hype them. I don't have any further information about the exact location in Scotland. Of course, that's a wide area. If you pop onto the Your Party website, though, I think they do list where they're having the meetings and the hustings and things like this. So yeah, maybe he just wants to give the youth of Scotland something to think about for the future, but not a great turnout, unfortunately. Still well said, though, from Corbyn. Worth listening to. We're going back over stateside next with the latest episode of A Song of I.C.E. and Fire. Just a reminder, people, please do hit thumbs up on the stream and vote in the current poll that's up in the chat if you're watching live. Do you think Keir Starmer will resign before the local elections? Say you aye or say you nay. Currently 52 to 48 in favour of aye. The ayes currently have it. Give us a follow on social media as well at MyLeftEye UK. Other ways you can really help to support the channel are with super chats if you're watching live, or super stickers. They're both active, as are super thanks if you're watching back later on. There's a Buy Me a Coffee page in the description of this stream, so please do check that out. You can also hype some of our content. That's a new feature that's come out on YouTube. You get points to hype videos. You might want to hype this stream or some of our recent content. If you could do that, that'd be fantastic. I think that depends on which country you're in as well as which device you're watching on, but if you just look underneath roughly where the comments are, you should see the option to be able to hype videos, which is a fairly recent feature that I've not nearly mentioned enough on live streams. But I remembered this time. Yeah, hype it up, people. Preferably videos, if you can. Just open a new tab, pick some recent content, hit the hype button. Good to go. Alright, thank you, Herbie. What a catchy tune. Let's hear it again and again and again. Quite a lively chat this evening as well. That was good to see. Okay, people, stateside. That's the latest in A Song of I.C.E.A.F and Fire. Yes. Song of Ice, Sea and Fire, where we keep up to speed with the latest ice-capades. This time again from a location that's come up a lot recently in Minneapolis, where a line of ICE agents literally just walk down the street and start to arrest people at random. One woman in particular being quite outspoken as she was taken away by the Gestapo. And also a bit of a melee with some protesters as well in this clip, so just play it through. Let's see what's happening.
They might rush people.
He's under arrest. Lieutenant Patrick Cello, and a big county sheriff. You are under arrest. Arrest him.
Member of the press. A member of the press there. They just grab and go, don't they? Just anything that moves. That member of the press there, of course, they now don't like being filmed, and it's not the first time that we've seen people being arrested just for filming, whether it's passers-by, no members of the press as well. Home of the brave and land of the free.
No, I'm crushed. Get off! Get off! I'm crushed. I'm crushed! Get off me! Get off me! I'm crushed! Sorry, I was
That's unbelievable. Jesus wept. And they just surround this douchebag so that they can pin down someone who's no threat to them whatsoever, treating them like they're some sort of violent criminal or whatnot. Absolutely revolting. It's absolutely revolting. This is all that we've come to expect from these absolute bastards.
She's a young woman! Leave her alone! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up!
Yeah, we're told that things are de-escalating in Minneapolis because they've removed a few hundred of the 2,000 or so pricks that are out there at the moment. Something else that's been going on. I don't know if you heard about this one. So people have been in pickup trucks, people who own pickup trucks and whatnot, attaching Mexican flags to the back of them and driving around US citizens to try and get the attention of ICE to waste the time, basically, in pulling them over and whatnot. But they're calling it ice fishing. It's apparently a new protest sport that's taking part in the US. That is an actual thing, by the way. Yeah, with the Mexican flag on the back.
Go, keep going. Keep going.
I was walking back already. Alright, they are just randomly grabbing people, arresting people.
Come on, come on, come on.
You're fascists. You can see some of the community showing out in force there as well now. Good for them, you gotta say, but they still just pick people out of the, you know, almost like we're not predators picking out a weak one from the herd or whatever. Just absolute stormtrooper shit. no two ways about it. So I don't think this counts as de-escalation by any means. Well, no, as far as we know, not since it came on stream anyway, no one's been murdered by ICE in the last week or so. You know, since Renee Good, of course. Just moving on, another clip now. How's this affecting public opinion in general? Well, J.D. Vance was over in Italy at the Olympics, got a couple of clips of the kind of reception that he's received, probably on account of the kind of actions we've just seen here from ICE.
In an individual sport, what an
So this was as the United States team are being announced at the Winter Olympics, which of course are being held in Italy.
honor for her.
There is the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and his wife, Usha. Ooh.
Oh dear.
Those are not. Those are a lot of boos for him. Whistling, jeering, some applause. Not a long shot of him on this.
In an individual sport, what an honor for her.
There is the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and his wife, Usha. Ooh. Those are not. Those are a lot of boos for him.
Yeah, they're into a different kind of ice at the Winter Olympics, as you can gather from that response.
Whistling, jeering, some applause.
People, as they walk past, with, hi, hey, Mom, they fucking hate us here.
Not a long.
And then when Vance appeared again, whether he appears on screen or in person, same kind of response. Not sure what event this one's from. That was the opening ceremony itself. I just need to realign this actually. There we go. Yeah, still not sure what he's showing up at this time, but literally as soon as he takes his seat. Okay, let's get comfortable. Oh no, they've seen me, they hate me.
Kill that light!
Always trying to smell through it. Or it appears to be at some sort of concerts. He's right up in the back. Let's just see that again.
Kill that light!
Yeah. Well done again. Oh no, you're not surrounded by cronies now. Oh no, it's not so great when countries that are responsible for so much corruption, international genocide, trying to cover up the Epstein files and the actions of ICE in cities like Minneapolis. Well done, Italy. So that's where I'll leave A Song of A.S.O.I.C.E.A.F and Fire for now. No doubt, unfortunately, more to get through during upcoming streams, but that'll be it for now. Another light-hearted refrain now. Just need to quickly say though, if anybody's watching this back later on, it might be snipped out. So we tried a bit of jiggery pokery to see if we can sneak this one through, because we've had problems in the past, but we do like these Hitler Rants parodies. I'm sure a lot of you already know the channel. So in the latest one, it's Keith who gives gives Hitler a call in the bunker. Sorry. It is a good one. You are going to like this as well, I hope. There's a link in the description for this video on the channel, so do go and subscribe, of course. Always give credit where it's due. And like to help promote channels that we're a fan of. So this is the latest one. These are very good.
Was ist los? Woher kommt die Schießerei?
Mein Führer, darf ich Ihnen zum Geburtstag gratulieren?
Wenn sich ohne Befehl entfernt hat, ist das Fahnenflucht. Verrat!
Mein Führer, wir haben noch keine Meldung. Ich spreche gerade mit Koller.
Koller, geben Sie mir Koller. Koller.
Hello.
Sie wissen, dass Berlin unter Artilleriefeuer liegt.
Well, I will be sitting in this seat by 2027.
Hören Sie den Beschuss nicht?
I'm not surprised that people are frustrated. I completely get that. The truth is, since the crash in 2008, most people haven't seen their living standards improved. They haven't seen their public services move in the right direction, they've seen them move in the wrong direction. And they've lost trust in politics. So when we went to the electorate in 2024 saying our manifesto pledge is change, many people said, yes, I want that change. I'm fed up.
Die Russen sollen eine Eisenbahnbrücke über die Oder haben.
It will take more than 12 months to turn around 14 years of failure. And it will take more than 12 months. It will take time. That's why we needed a 5-year mandate. But do I understand the frustration that people have? If you've lived through 14 years without your money in your pocket and your public going up, your public services being what they should be, then of course you want change more quickly.
Das sind ja nur 12 Kilometer bis zum Stadtkern. Ist der Russe schon so nah?
We have got the fight of our lives ahead of us because we've got to take on reform. We've got to beat them. And so now is not the time for introspection or navel gazing. There is a fight that we are all in together, and every single member of our party and our movement, actually everyone who cares about what this country is, whether they vote Labour or otherwise, it's the fight of our lives for who we are as a country. We need to be in that fight, united, not navel gazing.
Wenn sich ohne Befehl entfernt hat, ist das Fahnenflucht. Verrat! Aber alle diese Verräter werden bezahlen.
Let me talk this through with you because it's important to appreciate what happened when, and I understand that. Obviously, the diplomatic post of American ambassador, really important post, and Peter Mandelson, before he was appointed, went through a due diligence process. That's the propriety and ethics team went through a process, and therefore I knew of his association with Epstein.
Haben Sie noch Zweifel an einem Befehl? Ich glaube!
Had I known then what I know now, I'd have never appointed him.
Ich habe mich klar genug ausgedrückt! Aber alle diese Verräter werden bezahlen.
Under the last government, we saw constant chopping and changing of leadership, of teams. It caused utter chaos. Utter chaos, and it's amongst the reasons that the Tories were booted out so effectively at the last election. Nobody but nobody wants to go back to that. It's not in our national interest. We know from that evidence what happens if you go down that chaotic path. I'm going to see through the mandate that we won in 2024 because it's only by consistently and carefully changing the country. As we're seeing, the economy is beginning to turn around. We're taking a number of measures on the cost of living. But I never pretended that this would be a quick and easy change because after 14 years of the last government, it was always going to take time. But it was a huge mandate. It was a mandate for change, and I intend to deliver on that mandate.
Seid Feiglinge! Verräter, Versager! Kommende Generation dankbar sein. Ich übernehme für alles die volle Verantwortung.
Well, we need to make sure that the boats aren't available for any migrants. And those engines are coming from different parts of the world. They're travelling through Europe, and then they're making their way to the north coast of France.
Die gesamte Generation Solidarität ist nichts weiter als ein Haufen niederträchtiger, treuloser Feiglinge!
Yeah, this will help because whichever country they're coming from, it's important that we have agreements in place so that we can intercept them en route.
Es wurde ein ungeheurer Verrat geübt am deutschen Volke!
The propositions of reform would tear our country apart.
Hat die Korruption in unserem Staat möglich gemacht!
If it gets into power, it will find that its policies don't work, and it won't become more progressive, it won't nudge towards the centre, it'll go to the right, to the right, to the right. We've not faced that in this country ever in this form, and it is the political fight of our times, and we have to win that political fight.
Von allem Anfang an bin ich so verraten und betrogen worden!
When I took over as leader of the Labour Party, everybody said to me, you'll never change the Labour Party. We did. Then they said to me, you'll never win an election. We did. Now they want to say to me, you're not going to be able to change the country. I don't accept that. I'll be judged in 5 years' time by the good work that this government has done.
Man müsste die ganze Luftwaffenführung sofort aufhängen!
Thank you.
Das ist unerhört, unerhört. Der Russe steckt 12 Kilometer vom Steckkern. Und ich erfahre das sozusagen auf Nachfrage.
Mein Führer, vielleicht handelt es sich ja wirklich um Fernfeuer. Sie erwinden eine Eisenbahnbrücke über die Oder.
Ach, Unsinn!
Hitler rants, parodies. Let's bring the music up. There's a link in the description once again. Go and follow the channel. And, you can check out that video again if you like. Yeah, Starmer doesn't understand that the only thing that can fight the right is the very thing that he's eradicated from the Labour Party. Socialism.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Time once again for another shout out to all of the members on the channel. Thoroughly appreciate all of the supports as always. Yeah, so final push, final hype of the evening. Super chat, super stickers are still open if you're watching live. Super thanks if you're watching back later on, and there's a buy me a coffee page in the description of the stream. Have we all hit the thumbs up button, people? That's one very simple way to help support the channel and this stream. Please do open one of our recent videos as well, and if you do have hype points wherever you're watching from on whatever device, please do consider using your hype points on some of our content. If anybody's already done that, thank you very much for doing so as well. Stick with us on stream, people. Going to be reading into some more left-wing content as we bring things to a close before we dive into the Fondue Lounge for a second portion. Just quickly see who's around. So yeah, stay put, people. Nina Sadie, thank you very much. 5 gifted memberships there. That's a lovely way to see out proceedings on the stream. Update the membership goal total there, 175 now. Thanks again, everybody. Let's please big up Nina Sadie in the chat. Well, I think we'll go to Kevin Logan. Of course, it's a Sunday. Kevin Logan and No Justice MTG will be doing a thorough inspection of Laura Kussenberg. So yeah, like I said earlier, I've not seen any Kussenberg. I'm going to be joining you over there for a bit as well. If you're not already subscribed, do subscribe to Kevin Logan once we land, so that's all set. Thanks again, Nina. Thank you again, everybody, for joining me on stream. Let's dive over to the lounge. Thanks, Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics, for the background music. But for now, as we say our goodbyes, one of the best earworms on the internet, Keith's Fondue Lounge, and Agitate for Change. Okay, of course, where this channel is concerned, we'll be back with Brews at 10 live streams hosted by yours truly, your humble host Lefty. Throughout the week, do join me there, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content on the channel. And if you've not done so already, check out our most recent video on Keith here himself. Is this going to be the end for him and his premiership? So we'll see what kind of tangles Keith and co can get themselves into as we progress through the days to come. All that remains for me to do is thank you for joining me on tonight's live stream. Once again, power to the people, free Palestine, Lebanon, Sudan, Yemen, and the Fulton 24 on all of the charges in their entirety. See you soon, people. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Off we go to visit Kevin Logan. Good night, everybody. And it's still 52-48 in the poll, by the way. Okay, stay put, people. Off we go. Good night.
Socialists. Oh my God.
It's what Hitler and Goering did, and it is textbook. And if you think the next time it happens, we're gonna recognize it because they're wearing scary uniforms, you're out of your damn mind.